Hey guys, happy Sunday. It's Daryl here. It is 9:30 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. I just got back from my bike ride. I'm telling you guys, it gets the blood pumping. I'm on the bike for at least an hour. It's a 10-mile ride, and I do my best thinking. All right, I want to tell you guys what I saw, not on my bike ride, but when I went on a walk before that, a hike around town. And I saw a nice, beautiful, there's a lot of Victorian houses in this area. This town was founded back in the early 1800s. It's one of the older, it's one of the newer towns actually in Connecticut. But anyway, lots of Victorian. It's a nice Victorian house. It had a big Trump banner, newly put up, Trump 2020, Make America Great Again. And this is the thing, it had all these Halloween decorations the person was just putting up this morning, burying a skeleton in the yard. The shovel was still there. Now, before I got to this house, I could hear a recording of screams and clanking and ghosts. Like 4 houses down, I could hear this tape recording playing over and over of screams, a Halloween soundtrack. It's 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning now, okay? And I walk by the house and I just shake my head. And honestly, I hadn't even noticed all the Halloween stuff after I realized, oh my God, it's August 30th, August 30th, and you're putting up Halloween decorations. But that's not what I was shaking my head at. I was looking at this big Trump banner, so that whenever anybody comes for the Halloween treats or whatever, it's going to be the Trump house, There's very few Trump anything in this town. But to be fair, there's no Biden stuff. Nobody's put any stuff up yet. Okay, and I just shook my head as I walked by. Now, right after, the music cut off. I didn't realize the person was looking outside and had seen me walk by and just shake my head. And he shut the music off, kind of to let me know that he saw me, because he was kind of working on burying the skeletons and everything and seeing how it sounded. And he did see me when I know he saw me, shake my head. And I thought about that. I thought about some parallels to the very last years that I was still in substance abuse. I had, as most of you guys know, I was hardcore. I got to be careful how I phrase this. There's some stuff words I can't say here in the video. But the hardest of the hard, every day, physically, mentally addicted, and lying to myself, lying to everybody else. And I started thinking about that. I started to think about how I used to lie back during those times. I thought about the Trump supporter. And I shook my head because I'm like, this person must, but my point here is it's 2020. It's not 2016 anymore. We know Trump by now. We know him. Trump supporters know him by now. They know the lies. There's been not just the lies, but his narcissism, his arrogance, his doing things just for himself. How many times has he broke like the emoluments clause? The line between the ethics violations, probably 20, 30 times. And I was thinking about that. The times that he was at a press briefing and he said, I'm going to keep your health care. I'm going to keep pre-existing conditions. And then later that afternoon, tried to sign it out, tried his damnedest to sign it out and try to trash the Obamacare and all that. He's been cold busted time after time after time, day after day. And it's not just the rest of us to see this. The Trump supporters must see this too. So I think there's 2 different camps of Trump supporters, I think. I think there's the ones that are going to vote for him, but they're not going to be too loud about it because they know the rest of the world. When I look at that sign, that Trump supporter sign out there, I'm thinking this guy supports a known liar, lying, cheating ass. He's just an ass. ass all around. But he's still supporting him. So I'm thinking, there's the Trump supporters that are still, they can't quite admit to themselves. They're going to try to, they're going to ride this one right into the ground. They're going to keep voting for him just because they're gonna, But they're not going to make it too obvious because they know everybody else looks at Trump as a liar, a cheater, an idiot. And then there's guys like this. And he reminds me of how I was back in the last days of my addiction. I thought everybody was believing me. I had the attitude that I was gonna sell this, and even if I was caught doing something right in front of somebody, I was still gonna say, no way, nope, I'm clean and sober. You're out of your mind, And that's what that person reminds me of, And I thought if I sold it hard enough, people would believe it because I thought I believed it. And, and I thought other people would see that and they'd believe it too. And that's what I saw in that Trump supporter. When in reality, the people around me were shaking their heads. They go, I'd be like, no way, I'm clean. I've been clean for 2 months, 2 weeks. I could never remember because I was lying. I'd say 6 months one day and 2 months next day. So anyway, my friends and family would just shake their heads at that point. They're not gonna, what's the point? What's the point in pointing out, he's lying again? And they just, okay, Daryl, and part of them didn't even want to believe it. It was just easier just to say, all right. And I'm thinking that's this guy's neighbors. He puts that sign up and he thinks, there's got to be people. If I believe hard enough, if I sell this big sign right on my porch, then other people are going to believe it too. And his neighbors probably aren't saying nothing. They're probably going, and then walking away and shaking their heads. And it just reminded me, it's denial. It is. That's I was in denial. I thought I was fooling everybody, and I had things under control, and that's how I picture these Trump supporters. They know deep down, they know who they're supporting. They know this guy's a liar. They know he's a cheater. They know this isn't making America great again. For instance, they just changed the rules so that when they report on, they have a commission that reports on election tampering from outside the country. I'm sure you guys probably all heard about this. Just this weekend, they changed it around. The Trump administration now no longer does that commission report directly in person to Congress. Now they do it in writing. And the Trump administration made that change. Like if Russia's trying to mess with our elections or China, the Trump administration just changed it. So they're not reporting in person anymore to Congress on these issues. They're just going to do it in writing because they don't want it politicized that Russia and China are meddling in our elections. And it's obvious. There's no other reason why, he's not doing this to make America great again. He's doing this to give himself an edge in the election. They're making it possible for Russia to screw around because he knows that Russia wants him in here. Because Russia, of course, they want instability. This isn't great for America. And the Trump supporters they can't be that stupid. They have to know this deep down. But it's denial. It's denial. It's not 2016 anymore. Trump has been caught out again and again and again, lying and cheating. And nobody's believing it anymore. And this Trump supporter, guys like him with their big banners out in front of their house, are in denial. They think if I could sell this hard enough, other people are going to believe it. They're going to know that I believe it. And people are just walking away shaking their heads, just like I shook my head with today. Just like people used to shake their head when I used to insist that I was clean and sober. As my eyes were all bloodshot, I was slurring my words. Yeah, sure you are, Daryl. Anyway, you guys have a good Sunday.